This week's episode of the Pretty Neat Podcast is brought to you by you. That's right, if you'd like us to promote your content or your store, let us know by going to theprettyneatpodcast.com and click in the mailbag. Can I ask a very serious question?
Yes.
Can you hear this?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I can.
Can you
fire
hear
it
that?
up, buddy.
Ooh, can you hear this?
Circle gets the square.
You got
Awesome. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
it. I like it.
Yeah. How about this one?
That one too.
Hell yeah. Fucking love Wednesday night.
For the Pretty Neat Podcast. It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
And through the power of editing, I will fill in the rest of that later.
Editing isn't real.
And the
We'll-
power of
We'll do it in
humor.
post.
And for the power
We'll do it live.
and sake of humor, I won't edit any of that out.
Are you guys into keyboards at all? Let's jump right in here.
What do you
What?
mean? In what way?
Like keys, like a keytar,
No.
What
like
are
for a
those
computer.
keyboards.
What are those keyboards called where your hands are at an angle? I'm very
Ergonomic.
or is it
Ergonomic.
ergonomic? And
Yeah.
there's also versions of that with totally different key layouts as well.
There is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
There
using
are.
an ergonomic keyboard currently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And mine is also split into two, so we're like, for proper finger placement, it really enforces that type of usage.
I like it.
Okay, why?
I'm
So it's
using a-
interesting that you asked the question.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not like out of left field because everything in left field is norm here, but
Is
I assume
there
you're going
any-
somewhere with it.
I don't know. I have switched to I've had this keyboard that I'm currently using for a while, but I've kind of gotten into keyboards in the last year and a half. So I have a series of mechanical keyboards for different purposes, and then I have a set that I use at work that I absolutely love. You know how it goes.
Mechanical keyboards, you like the travel of the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Mhm.
is that what will get you going?
The one I use at work is a blend of clicky and quiet.
Clicky and quiet.
Yep.
Can you
So like, can you hear
Elaborate
this
on
one? You hear that?
yeah, I heard that.
Okay, so that's like clicky.
Okay.
It has a similar amount of travel and a satisfying click, but is not obnoxious for anyone who might be standing outside my door.
Like you're not on a typewriter.
Yes.
Man,
Check.
someone call the fucking cops. There's a machine gun going on.
What's the Family Guy?
keyboard up.
The Family Guy where he's writing with a quill and paper, and he's like dip 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 dip. And he's like narrating everything he writes.
Dip.
It's December, fellas.
Happy December.
Yeah.
Happy-
yeah.
Is it going to be
yeah.
a long December?
I've heard it's
It's
going
gonna
to
be
be
the
31
normal.
days.
Who
It's going to be
sings
the
that
normal
song?
amount of December.
Counting Crows.
Yeah.
What, a long December by Counting Crows? I don't know if
Yeah.
I've ever heard
You
that.
don't know that song?
No.
This is the most indie band album, the most 90s indie band album name of all time. So the song is A Long December in 1996 from the album Recovering the Satellites.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
Recovering the Satellites.
They're
For whatever reason, that makes me think of Dave Matthews Band.
I mean, you're in the realm. The fucking Counting Crows, they have like some of the most emo fucking
Yeah, they
album
do.
names of all time.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you have okay, it's Christmas time. This
It
is a,
is.
a
If you
a
think I wore
topic.
my gloves to this episode, you're wrong. I did not. I'm ready to go. Whatever it is you want to do.
Well, should we do okay, how about we each say the most recent holiday movie we've watched, and then perhaps the one movie you have to watch or some shit like that. What do
Okay.
you think?
All right.
So we just finished Home Alone 2.
Okay.
We did watch Home Alone as well.
Okay.
And that's the most recent. Um,
We
man,
recently watched Home Alone, the first Home Alone as well.
yeah,
Can I tell you something that's like,
yes.
um, so prior to watching Home Alone,
Mm-hmm.
I had told you guys there are some Pixar movies that I hadn't seen. So we
Mhm.
watched Wall-E, and my wife
Nice.
is getting emotional, and like she looks over to me, and I'm just fucking stone faced, right? No emotions, no fucks given. She's like, "How are you not, upset?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just I'm not." And then immediately thereafter, we're watching Home Alone, and I don't know what it was. It was probably like just latent emotion. The neighbor, the grandpa who like is talking to Kevin McAllister about being estranged from his son.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like I lost it.
Oh.
There's something that happened. I wept like a child.
Okay.
Ashley looks at me like, okay, yeah, you just need to get that out.
Interesting.
It's there's like a little bit of a personal thing in there as well. Like my my mom's dad, my grandpa, passed away many years ago. He had leukemia. The guy smoked for most of his life and chewed tobacco, and he was a recovering alcoholic. So I mean,
But it
to
was the
die in your
leukemia
80s,
that got him.
yeah, to die in your
Yeah.
80s is pretty good.
It's a good run.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But I remember like as he got older, right? As you do, your skin is much thinner when you're an older person, so like you bleed a lot easier. And just the sight of in that movie, if you
Yeah, the
remember
guy's
Home
hand.
Alone, he's got the bandage on his hand,
Yep.
and I like had this moment of association with my past grandpa, and I like fucking lost it.
Mhm.
But anyway,
And I'll back you in that I know I got teary at least during part of the second one. But it's Chris Columbus and John Williams. Like
in Home
that,
Alone,
the
that's the
director
score,
and
the director's
composer.
score.
Yeah, I mean that combos the first two Harry Potters, Home Alones, like they just know how to do that. They know exactly how to pull the heartstrings in the moments. But I get the personal connection as well. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's my vulnerable moment for the evening.
I like
Now
it. I appreciate it.
Keep it locked up. I'm gonna keep it locked up for the rest
So,
of the evening.
where
Yeah.
does Wally fall for you on your Pixar power rankings?
Yes, this does
I
supersede.
still need to see Up. So like
Ooh.
it's probably an incomplete.
Oh, you want
list.
to talk about crying?
Okay, call us after the first
Up
10
will punch
fucking
you
minutes.
right in the dick,
Oh,
right when
man.
it gets started.
I mean, it'll hit you more than Jalen Turner hit Bobby Green unnecessarily.
Or or more than Jamal Hill hits
Johnny Walker.
his brother.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh, okay.
Apparently that whole domestic situation is like sorting out, and like it sounds like his brother did some shit. And
Well,
like
either way.
yeah, Cain Velasquez.
Up will get you. So, but where does it rank tentatively then?
It's up there. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that all of humanity are obese, fuckheads who can barely walk because of a life of convenience and technology. I thought that was great.
Boy, if we aren't
Hey,
rocketing towards that.
Hey America.
Get-
Hey America, take a good long look.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And if you're gonna learn anything, it's buy stock in B&L.
Right.
Oh.
I like
it was good. I really enjoyed it. I
when
thought
they're
it was
A is for Axiom, your home sweet home. B is for by and large, your very best friend.
Your very best friend.
I
Oh
recently
God.
saw a chunk of Toy Story 3 for the first time in a while. Um,
That's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure all four of them are complete masterpieces. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
Yeah.
They're all poignant, beautiful. They're crazy. What about you, Dom? What was the recent Christmas flick?
Yeah, so the last one I saw was Office Christmas Party. We talked a little about that. We did not get to one this past weekend. The Christmas list is long. I'm not a Home Alone fan. Um, which probably doesn't surprise anyone. And the one that I like to watch when my actual Christmas vacation from work starts is Christmas Vacation, which I also think is
Ooh.
the best.
Oh, it's
The
up
best
there.
Christmas movie, Christmas
For
Vacation for
me,
you?
yes.
Okay.
It's
Where do
great.
you where do you where do you stand on the whole a Christmas story like marathon?
I'm
Are
a
you in or
fan.
are you out on that?
I'm
Okay.
very in.
You're
I
Are
very
like to
you
in.
in or
con
out?
I'm indifferent to be quite honest.
Okay.
Like I've watched it and I've enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit through a whole 24 hours of it. That's
No.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
But
the I'm
I
cooking, throw it
understand the
on in the
nostalgia.
background movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's definitely the hey, this is just happening and I'm doing other things.
It's
And
on in the
sometimes
other
I'll
room
look
while you're
over.
opening presents.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And maybe
exactly.
throughout the Christmas Eve to Christmas night window, you you see all of it. When
Yeah.
he says he
And
looks like a pink nightmare, though, when he wears the fucking bunny suit, is so good. Um, in my house, so we do Christmas at my mom's house, and it's usually a pretty alcohol filled affair. Um, but we do end up switching to NBA basketball pretty early, and that's kind of on until it ends because the Lakers always play on Christmas. So,
yeah.
and they are
Speaking of the
an
Lakers,
institution in my household.
did you see that the NBA is not going to allow the Lakers to wear their black city
I
uniforms
did, but I did not see why.
because of the potential color clash with the courts
Okay.
during the semifinals and finals that are being held in Vegas,
Hmm.
which like on one hand I can understand that, but also the Lakers are obviously upset. They're undefeated they're all in their all black uniforms
They also
and
look sick. I was originally not super
yeah,
into it, but they look sick.
they look great. They look great and I I think that's going to be enough of a problem where they're going who are they playing in the semifinals? Do we know yet or we don't
New
know?
Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay, they can beat New Orleans.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah. That is no. It's that one right there. The
The
one you're
purple
hovering on.
with the purple?
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the other one that they wore
it's
was in
pretty sick.
the bubble
Yes.
playoffs. It was the
That's the Kobe
Kobe.
one. Hmm.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
They have a Shaq jersey too.
Never.
A Shaq City edition one too.
That's cool.
Yeah. Makes me think I maybe need to buy one. Are they going to keep wearing them during the year? Do you know?
They didn't really specify.
Right there with the
Um
stars, Aaron. So at one point, the Lakers they had a new, like, teams do new city jerseys every year, like city editions, they call them. And the Lakers had a small run. I don't think they do it anymore, where they would like collaborate with a former player, and that player would help design the jersey. Pretty sick.
Nice.
So
Christmas
they
Vacation is up there, by the way.
Christmas Vacation way up there. Oh, son of a bitch.
Did either of you ever see the sequel to Christmas Story that came out? Did that come out?
No, I meant to, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, it just didn't
that was a
happen.
more recent thing, right? Right,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Aaron?
last year.
yeah. No, I don't think so. Um, wild.
The Nike's website is all sold out of the LeBron and AD City edition jerseys.
Hmm. Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie or both?
It's both.
It's both.
It's just both. Is
It's both.
Gremlins a Christmas movie? I view it as a
Uh,
Christmas movie, more so than Die Hard fans think Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
you know what? I've only ever seen Gremlins like a handful of times, so I don't have a strong association to a holiday with that. I'm assuming it takes place over like a
Oh
Christmas
yeah.
holiday.
Ends in a shopping mall, everything. It's all snowy, which they did because it was easier to do the miniatures that way, made it look more real with the
More
puppets.
realistic. Interesting.
Just pretty cool. Yeah. I think Christmas Vacation might be at the top for me. Like I was kind of weighing the other holiday movies that are pretty high on the list.
It's pretty
And
good.
and that's way up there. Although I know something's just like on the top of my list. I am gonna watch Violent Night for the first time, and I'm very excited about watching that soon.
I enjoy it. It's got like that good camp, and they're kind of leaning into the whole Die Hard of it all.
Yep. And I like
and
this guy,
yeah, David Harbour.
David
Mhm.
Harbour.
Have you
David
guys seen
Harbour's great.
Krampus
Oh, Krampus is fantastic.
with
I have not. I'm pretty
Adam
sure
Scott?
Ashley has though.
Yeah, with Adam Scott. It's so
Yeah.
good.
I think you like it, Ryan.
Have you seen
sure I
this,
would.
Dom?
No, but it's on the list.
This is my
Okay.
4th year as a
Same.
Santa. How about you?
I started the
Oh.
whole damn thing.
I also kind of want to watch the new Amazon one with Eddie Murphy.
Bad
Cane
Santa.
Lane.
Candy Cane Lane. Thank you. I have not seen Bad Santa, but it is on my list.
That absolutely shocks me, and I think that you will cry from laughter in the same amount of time it would take you to cry from sadness from watching Up. That is a long-winded comparison, but I wholeheartedly think that you will cry laughing within the first 10 minutes of Bad Santa.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's the right humor. Bad Santa is on my list. It has to be watched every year. That's up there. I think that came out like my freshman year of college, and like a bunch of us went to go see it, and we all just busted up laughing and we're the right level of intoxicated and all that stuff.
Makes sense.
Just the right level.
Yeah. Should we talk about this past weekend's festivities?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's recap it up.
So we'll just put it out there. We were about a fantasy point and a half from going 6 for 6.
Yeah, we were.
Ugh.
Good job by us.
Yeah. And Dom
Where's the
had
golf
made
clap for that, Aaron?
Where's
I'm
the
getting
golf
it.
clap? We're working up to it.
Yeah.
So we're averaging a payout now, right? We're averaging 4
Mhm.
out of 6,
Pretty good.
which is not too shabby.
Anytime
there
you
you
can
have
go
it.
5 out of 6 and double your money, you're in a good spot.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Pretty Neat Podcast Fellowship because you hit 2 out of 3 times with us.
That's right.
I mean, they
2
were
out
all-
of 3 times it works, kinda.
the only really like close scores were the Joaquim Silva against Clay Guida,
Yep.
which we
Yep.
hit on, and then the aforementioned Armin Saryukin versus Benil Dariush, 1.3 points from
Mhm.
being a 6 out of 6 victory, which would have had a pretty nice payout.
Which
But hey, we'll take it.
I did the math. It was 3 strike. It was it's 3 significant strikes we missed by.
Yeah.
And there was only 1 significant strike once he was on the ground.
Okay.
Dariush. So like it wasn't like he was knocked out and then those 2, 3, 4 like they didn't add up. He landed 6 out of those 8 significant strikes before the knockout. And damn, man, that would have been great to hit that. But we're getting close.
I reflected on this after I watched that fight, and I thought, you know what? That fantasy score was so high, and we talked about that when we made the pick last week.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
almost now wonder if we should have taken the over. because it almost seems like they knew something.
Uh,
So I don't know if that would have really pushed us to take the over in that situation. However, it's a really strong indicator that we need to look at alternatives. If they're saying like, hey, the over under is 115 and a half points. So let's look at what
Staying
other
away from
options are
that.
available. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, like
yeah.
what other options are available to us, like fight time or
That's what I'm saying. Staying
strikes.
away from the fantasy points.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really rational um
Yeah.
But
observation and
it kind
analysis
of
of it.
worked for us with Punahele, where we were like, yeah, this
Yep. I was
he's
about to
gonna have to
say,
do,
and I was saying he was gonna lose. Like that when this one came up, this was a good one for fantasy score because it was he was gonna lose or he was gonna win in the late second or third or something like that. We looked at
Yeah.
and which all added up to like I think we said like 96 was if he made it to the second round and stuff like that. So we pretty
Yeah,
we got
we did the math.
yeah, like when there's a favorite, I'm sorry, because seems to only put the favorites up,
beat
right?
that out.
Sorry. Ye app
It's
who
okay.
must sponsor.
Yeah.
Ye app, who will be a sponsor. You
Yeah.
will be a sponsor.
We'd take an affiliate. You don't even have to sponsor us.
Yeah. With this one, um, if there's a good dog and you're like, I think that Dustin is probably gonna win this, then yeah, I'll take less on fantasy score anytime. Like
I
that
agree.
hard to come by, but it'll happen.
Also, just the brain trust here, this collective trifecta of wizardry, this tri-wizard cup conglomerate, our ability to really kind of talk that through and really kind of isolate how does Punahele win? Well, he wins by knockout. Okay, he doesn't have any other paths to victory.
Yeah.
Dustin Stoltzfus, right? What can he do? Is he a little bit more well-rounded? And the fact was, like, we chose the under not only because we thought it would go to the third round, but also, Aaron, you had made the comment at real time, hey, I think Dustin could win. So it made sense in that regard. And of course, it backfired
Mm-hmm.
on us with Armin Saryukin. And
But not decisively so, to Aaron's point.
No.
3 strikes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I-
he could get a couple of Armin could have got 2 takedowns or a takedown and a knockdown and 20 significant strikes and finished it in the second round the same way and still would have beat that 115, right? Probably. So I think we were all banking on Benil being tougher and that it was going to at least go a few rounds. That was why we picked less, I think. Was we thought it was going to go longer than it did. Not that we weren't specifically saying that he needs a knockout in the first rounder and we win, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
no, and honestly, like, as a result, we're now looking at, all right, well, Armin's ready for top tier opponents. Also, Benil at 34 at the 155 weight division, I don't know if he
Mhm.
challenges for a belt going forward.
I would say he doesn't. And I also think, maybe not in the same way, but like we talk about in boxing, like Deontay Wilder had something taken from him, something like part of his soul. I don't think that's what Charles Oliveira did to Benil last time out, but I do think when Charles so decisively handled him, he maybe showed us where the line is, and that indicates that Benil is not there. So I don't know. I listened back and I at one point said like, oh, we're not going to come back and be like we told you so. But I also think because so many, realistically speaking, so many of the fighters on the card are well, maybe that's not even true. Punahele Soriano and Dustin Stoltzfus, we were not. I think that's the one I said it about, like we're not going to come back and say we told you so. But I think going through all the numbers, like you were saying, Ryan, like gave us an opportunity to think through it.
Mm-hmm. We nailed it on the Silva fight with the significant strikes and Clay
We
Guida being
did,
a punching bag.
but also quick, Clay Guida,
He
more
won.
competitive, more competitive.
And he won.
Did he?
No, wait, no, he
No,
didn't.
Silva
No, he
Silva
didn't win.
won.
Yeah, I'm
Silva won.
sorry.
Fucking
But
5 takedowns for Sean
Yeah.
Brady.
Yeah, right. We nailed that
dude,
too.
Sean Brady crushed him.
What was that? Was that Kelvin looking never mind. I was gonna say, was that Kelvin looking bad or Sean Brady looking good? It's both.
It's
Yeah.
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, Kelvin, I think 170 for him, his first go around, not great. Also, bad matchup. Sean Brady's fucking huge for 170.
We talked about that last week.
hmm
Bad matchup.
You
Bad
can say
matchup.
bad matchup, but if you look at welterweight, who's a good matchup for him? Here's Shavkat
Somebody,
Rachmanov. Have fun.
dude.
Fuck you, Kelvin Gastelum. Like that's really what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I think, Shavkat's got a lot of heat behind his name. I need him to beat somebody big.
Well, isn't
And
he
then
about to? Who's he fighting next?
oh, he's fighting Wonder Boy. He's
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
destroy Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I'm sorry, Stephen Wonder Boy. You're 40 and you're 40. You've been great. Fun to watch.
Yeah.
Great guy. His longevity is a testament to how he takes care of his body.
Mm-hmm.
But you're coming up against like the next generation.
Can I share an interesting fact thing that's happened right now as of this past Friday? Which is that not a single top 15 in lightweight has a scheduled fight right now.
What?
Isn't that wild? Like there's such a log jam on like Poirier's waiting for 300. Gaethje's not fighting anybody. Fiziev's not scheduled. Like no, none of these
Well,
people are.
Beneil just lost.
Yeah,
Weird.
Gamrot, we don't know who he's fighting.
Bobby Green
Chandler's
just
waiting
lost.
for McGregor.
Yep. I think Armin should fight Dustin Poirier at UFC 300.
Whoa.
That would be good.
I'm into it.
Who wins?
Armin.
Yeah.
In more ways to win.
Yep.
Dustin underrated. He is a
So tactical.
BJJ black belt,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
he could probably defend off of his back for a time. But just watching Armin kind of run through
Great
Beneil,
boxing. He's got
Yeah.
great boxing.
yeah, and that's not even like his strength. That's not what he's known for.
Yeah.
So, I'll favor the guy who's, was he 26, 28
Yeah, something like that.
against Poirier, who's 35 or 36. Again,
think-
like in the 155 division, that's tough.
Sarukian is the forward momentum, and Poirier is slowing down.
Yeah.
Agreed.
He's becoming a road guy. Not in a bad way. Or what's the other term? Gatekeeper. He's definitely a gatekeeper. But like
Mhm.
there's so many fucking gatekeepers in lightweight. Like
There was a point in time on this show though where we talked about how Poirier was like very clearly going to be the next champion and hold it for quite some time. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, that's very true. What did you think about Davison Figueiredo's debut? And
I didn't see enough of this fight to have an opinion on it.
it went to decision. We nailed that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked great.
Surprised. I was surprised. Like,
Yeah,
total honesty, I thought Rob Font was a bad stylistic matchup. I
did
didn't
too.
think that Davison would be able to go in and do anything like he would do in the 125 division and be like really dominant and a physical presence. And Rob Font is a bigger guy at 135. So a couple of things in hindsight after watching it. One, all right, so maybe the cat's out of the bag with Rob Font.
I was just
And-
gonna say I don't think Rob Font's good.
I
Rob
wouldn't
Font
go
is
so far as
pretty
to say
good.
he's not good, but I think they figured out how to beat Rob Font.
What's his best win?
Cody Garbrandt.
I think it's probably Marlon Moraes.
Marlon Moraes is up there, but like he outboxed Cody
Does
Garbrandt.
does beating Cody Garbrandt look all that good now?
He was the one
Yeah,
who
but you could
stopped
say
him.
the same thing about Marlon Moraes.
Yeah,
It depends on when in time did you beat this individual.
It feels
right?
like
'Cause
I mean
yeah.
fair, but
if you're saying I beat Marlon Moraes after he knocked out Aljamain Sterling, be like, that's a great win.
So he
Or
beat
I
Cody
beat,
Garbrandt off of two straight losses to TJ, one to Pedro Munoz, then that flash KO of
Ooh,
Rafael Assunção.
gotcha. My
which was a
only
Hail
issue
Mary.
is Davison was Davison. He didn't really change his game with the weight change. It felt like the same old him, which makes me wonder if he'll get figured out just because he's a little older.
You know what it makes me want to do with him?
Climb the ladder?
Climb the ladder.
I like that idea. Why don't we do that?
Do we have a drop for that? There it is.
The ladder.
Fools.
Climb, you fools. I have to do it every
Oh
time.
man,
I like
I
that.
love you. I love you as Gandalf. It's just amazing, Aaron.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So let's
Thank
talk
you.
just quickly about Gandalf.
Yes.
Are we
character?
sure the Lord of the Rings books are good?
I mean, I'm pretty confident.
Does everyone need
I'm pretty
to
confident that they are.
does everyone need to read 20 pages about hobbit diets though? Like I guess some people do. It's
I like
great.
the Sackville Bagginses myself.
Dang,
Samwise is the real hero. Let's be honest though.
he is.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I keep trying to get through all three of them, and I'm just like, I don't know if I like this. Anyway,
So Davison Figueiredo is now a bantamweight, and he is now ranked eighth on the official UFC rankings. So we can climb the ladder. What are your thoughts on Davison Figueiredo fighting Song Yadong? Which I mean,
Well, Song's fighting on Saturday.
he is. So I
but
guess we're
would he
gonna
beat
know
him
more.
is the idea here.
Probably, actually.
Do you think Davison would beat Song?
I think I do.
I really don't
Interesting.
know.
I think Song is still developing. I feel like Song has been in the UFC for a while. And the fact
He
that he's
sure
26,
has.
he's 26,
2017.
Yeah,
and he's
man.
only 26.
He
Is
lost to Kyler Phillips.
I think he lost to
He lost to Sandman. Doctor
Yep.
stoppage round 4.
that's right. That was the elbows,
See,
and
his
it was
last
a pretty bad cut.
his last win is Ricky Simone, and I'm not saying Ricky Simone is bad, but Ricky Simone is not a contender. I don't think he was ranked at the time. I don't think he's ranked still. Oh, he is. He's ranked 12th. Okay. Okay, maybe I'm underestimating Song Yadong, but I think that Davison would pressure the shit out of him and get him on the ground. That's
I'd be
just me.
lying if I said I really had an opinion on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Cheeto Vera, I think Cheeto would grind.
Song beat him
grind.
already. Oh, I'm sorry. That was dumb. Song did beat Cheeto Vera.
He did, but Davison and Marlon, I
Who?
would take Marlon.
I
would
don't
take
know.
Cheeto over Davison. No, You're not sure?
I honestly don't know.
I like the Piotr Jan fight versus Davison. That would be a war
Because
I
they're the
think.
same size,
Yeah,
I think that's a
height
good
wise.
I think that's a good next matchup,
Yeah.
Piotr?
actually.
Yeah.
yeah. Good. Piotr was supposed to fight this Saturday and pulled out. Not
Yeah.
sure why, but
He's wanted.
he could have a. He's what?
Oh, never mind. I thought this card was in China. It's not, is
It
it?
was originally. It was.
Okay, I was gonna
And
say
then
he's wanted in China, but no.
He's wanted.
Is he?
It's now in the Apex, and it's a kind of an underwhelming card. And you have Anthony Smith coming in on 2 weeks' notice to fight
Yeah.
Khalil Roundtree, which is
This was the card that they were supposed to have Zhang Wei Li on, and all of that didn't happen.
right. Well, it's like they got to save it for another
Yeah.
card. It just,
Hmm.
you kind of you get it. You lose your main fight of that decision to just say like, hey, we're gonna pull
Mhm.
out of China and just do this at the Apex and make this a Just so you know, your run of the mill fight night card. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
like
think
the
Corey
Piotr
would beat
Jan.
the shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a great next fight.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
Piotr?
Corey.
Sanhagen would beat the shit out of him.
So
Yeah.
big. He's so fucking big compared to Davison.
Uh, Cejudo is fighting Marab. I think Cejudo would beat Davison as well.
Probably.
Yep. Size
I
with
think Marab. I
wrestling.
think Marab would overwhelm Davison.
That's not even close.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Aljamain, like they
Also
still
not
have
even
him.
close.
Yeah, they still have him at 135. I think he's going to be fighting 145 going forward. I don't know if he's
That's
coming
a
back
bad move
down.
for him.
145.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't I? I feel like I just saw news about him.
Aljamain?
Yeah. Is he stepping into a fight? Yes. Short notice fight, 296 at
No
featherweight.
way. Who's he fighting?
Josh Emmett. Ooh, that's a
Huh.
tough. That's an in.
That's a tough fight for Josh Emmett.
I just
Yeah.
saw something else that said somebody else was coming in on short notice to fight Josh Emmett. It was our flat Earth boy.
Bryce Mitchell, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that would have been good too.
yeah. It
Damn.
just ESPN just put it out like a couple hours ago.
Oh, this was also today. I mean, if
Yeah,
if
it says this just in 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago. Bryce Mitchell stepping in on short notice to face Josh Emmett in featherweight contender match.
huh,
When? At 296?
yeah,
Yeah,
That's
December 16th in Vegas.
Oh.
Giga Jikadze had to withdraw because he tore his groin muscle.
oh yeah, he posted a video. It was pretty doing a kick. It looked terrible.
I like Giga Chikadze.
Yeah,
I do too.
The Giga
Giga
kick.
kick. Giga kick.
It's so good.
I mean, and Georgians are just awesome fighters.
So I'm
Him.
really curious now who's actually fighting Josh Emmett. All right, here's the plan. We're gonna have Aljamain fight Bryce Mitchell to see who fights Josh Emmett. I don't mean any of that.
Dude, sidebar. The Knights are so good.
What was that? Sorry.
The Vegas Knights are so
Oh
good.
yeah, no one's beating them.
They were trailing 3-1 at the end of the first period against the St. Louis Blues and just ripped off 3 goals in a row.
Yeah, no one's beating them. Unfortunately.
Damn. We didn't get to Sugar Sean.
Okay.
Sugar Sean and Cheeto.
No,
Sugar,
and
Sugar Sean
Figueiredo.
and Figueiredo.
Oh, Figueiredo.
What are we
oh,
talking
O'Malley
about?
would eat him alive.
I agree.
The UFC doesn't even make that fight.
We can't do
We're
this
gonna
to you.
see over the next 18 months. The Sean O'Malley thing is this. He is the next guy.
Yep.
He's the next like pay-per-view draw. Is that what you're saying?
He's the
Like,
next
big
pay-per-view
guy?
draw. He's gonna be on all the ads. They put his fucking sweet sweat. We talked about this at
On the
length.
octagon.
On the mat when he fought as the contender. Like the UFC is all in on the Sean O'Malley business. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying they shouldn't be. You guys know I love Sean O'Malley, at least as a fighter. The notion that Davison Figueiredo has a fucking prayer against him. I don't know that fight goes 3 minutes.
I could see it taking a couple of minutes for Sean to figure it out, but once he did, it would be over. I think Davison would go after Sean's legs heavily. And I think that
Okay.
Sean would have trouble with that for a second,
Okay.
but like
yeah.
he just,
Except that's never happened to him ever. But Davison's gonna figure
except
it
for
out.
his
Sure.
only non-win when his ankle literally
You know what
broke.
he's going to do to Cheeto Vera.
I think he's gonna put him away in the first
Yeah.
two.
Head
Maybe
kick, I'm calling it.
that would not surprise me. That would not surprise me at all. I like it. In fact, I would even say something spinny. A spinny
This is
head kick.
Ryan, this is the Columbus Blue Jackets, yeah?
Who? CB?
No,
CBJs?
who is Vegas playing?
The Blues, St. Louis.
The St. Louis Blues. Okay, their jerseys are sick. No?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I agree. St. Louis, good jerseys. They won a cup a handful of years ago. Otherwise, man,
St. Louis, good
they're in
sports
full
town though.
rebuilding mode.
No football team, but good sport. Well, actually, just baseball and hockey, I guess. No football, no basketball. What's the best
Yep.
sports town?
In terms of like, let's say, rabid fan base, loyal fan
No,
base, all of the
which
above.
team has the best collection of four teams, one from each sport?
Oh, okay. So
Five,
the
I
most
guess, if you want
competitive
to include soccer. Which city has the best?
currently,
No, all time.
New
all
York.
time, Boston,
Don't. Why would you say that?
Celtics,
Ooh,
Red
Chicago.
Sox,
So who has more titles than the Celtics, or as many?
the
So the
Lakers.
Lakers are much more competitive than the Celtics historically. The
Mhm.
Dodgers have had much more success than the Red Sox. The
Rams.
Kings Bruins is really tough, and the Rams Patriots is
The
also
Raiders.
really tough. So,
The Patriots are far more successful than the Rams, objectively.
are you sure?
Objectively,
What
You
about
talking about
the
the 20-year run where they won 6 Super Bowls and went to eight or whatever it was? Yeah,
yeah.
they're better than everybody.
Also, the Bruins are a original six
I know,
team for the
I know.
NHL.
So
what about the Rangers, the Yankees, the
no, so
Giants,
here's the problem that New York and LA both have. Ryan, you know what it is?
the Dodgers are from both.
No, although you're on the right track.
They buy all their best players.
No, that doesn't matter. That's a thing non-sports fans say.
No, they're not really like
What are the players overpaid now too? Sure. Look at how much money the NBA generates. The players get not even half. Yeah, they're overpaid. Sure. What's LA and New York's problem, Ryan? You know what it is.
the fan base is fair weather.
No,
Hmm.
they have two of each team. That's the problem.
That is pretty
Oh,
problematic. You a Jets fan, you a Giants fan. You a
Yankees,
Clipper
Mets,
fan, you a Laker fan.
Nets, Knicks, and then Islanders, Rangers.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lakers, Clippers, Rams, Chargers, but also the Raiders are kind of a splash in there. And then even the Ducks and Angels count, even though they're not technically in LA.
Yeah. Kings, Ducks.
That's that's the problem. I'm drawn towards a city like Tampa Bay, believe it or not.
Yeah, the Buccaneers and the Rays. That's
If
fun.
you the Bucks, the Rays, the Lightning have
Oh
been good, and
shit.
then you have to extend out, and geographically it's very close. The Orlando Magic would be the basketball team.
Yeah.
Um, probably you could probably fit some Dallas in there. You could probably fit.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cowboys fans are fucking assholes.
if I'm being objective, Boston is definitely in the conversation. Not
What about the
Chicago.
Utah
They're
Jazz?
no, because Utah doesn't have anything else. Is the problem? They only have basketball. I don't know. It's something I think probably too much about, to be honest with you.
I don't think there's anything you don't think too much about. And it's a good thing. That's a good that's a compliment.
That's true.
It really is. I know that you think more about fighter safety than the ref in the Jalen Turner Bobby Green
Oh
fight.
my God.
13 unanswered strikes. Come on. And he was out on the 1-2.
And Jalen Turner, he was out on his feet.
Yeah, he
And
was.
Jalen Turner looked at the ref like, seriously? You want me to keep going?
Another one? Like, you want me to give him another one?
Yeah.
He's the assistant principal from Breakfast Club. There's one more. I make $36,000 a year, bub.
You get the bull by the horns.
Shit.
Does it do that? Does this have the camera thing? No.
I don't
Okay.
know.
So that was good. Jalen
That's what we
Turner's
needed to
good.
see from Jalen Turner.
Yep. He looked great. Come on,
Yeah.
lightweight.
Mhm.
Tear something up. Rob Font, Davison, we already talked about that. Brady Gaslam, we already talked about that. Guaida, whatever. Punalei Soriano, whatever. Misha Tate
One-way
looked
traffic.
like she looked like Misha Tate. and Julia Avila hadn't fought in so long and became a mom and really changed as a fighter. I don't know what the hell to think here, except that Misha Tate versus Ronda Rousey 2 would be very nice on UFC 300.
Okay, I don't
Because
disagree with that.
because she shouldn't be
Wow.
fighting. She shouldn't be fighting for a belt. She's not a
Wow.
contender.
I don't disagree with that as like nostalgia,
Come on. If
but
you're
would
gonna
that
bring
really
Ronda
happen?
back and actually give her a chance to win, you got to put her against somebody like Misha Tate, somebody she's beat already. And that would be cool.
Yeah. So like initial reactions, let's say that happens. Dana comes out and says, "Hey, first UFC 300 fight
It's now
booked.
5-3
Ronda
Vegas, by the way.
uh, 5 to
Damn,
3? Am
Yeah.
I like is my stream delayed?
apparently.
Oh, look. Oh,
This one isn't.
they're on the
This
power
stream
play.
is live.
This stream is live. We'll do it live. Uh, would you favor Ronda
No,
Yes.
against Misha?
Yes.
no.
I would. I would.
I would, I'd want to see video of Ronda sparring.
What's the only way Ronda comes back?
A massive payday.
If she
And
knows she's gonna win.
that I
Well,
think that
yeah,
might be true
yeah.
too.
Her. Let's just say, like, I think Ronda. One of the things that we,
Ronda's worth like $15 million. She doesn't need to fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What the one thing like Ronda that we I don't know if we always just say out loud is I think she has a giant ego,
Mm-hmm.
and
Uh-huh.
and I Dom, you hit like on the head. She's not going to come back if there's any doubt that she would lose,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she would rip Misha's arm off.
That I can see
Ronda,
happening.
and you know what's funny? Ronda is like objectively really pretty, right?
Sure.
I
According to
don't
you,
remember when she, huh?
according to you,
You don't think so?
I
I
I
don't know.
do.
All right. Well, then it's not objective, so I'm not going to continue with what I was about to say. So, whatever.
I'm
I think
sorry.
Ronda beats me. I think if Ronda comes back, I, I think the more likely scenario is she fights someone that is like, although Misha Tate is close to this, like a name that is recognizable ish, but not someone who really has a chance to beat her. Like,
Holly Holm.
nope. Um, honestly, Misha Tate is the answer to what I'm talking about. So,
Nice.
Do you think Ronda or
she's
Misha
Rondi now. I like it.
Rondi?
Ronda Rousey?
Do you think Ronda or Misha is more attractive?
Ronda.
Ronda.
Okay, I think Misha's more attractive. So there you go.
There you
Difference
go.
of opinion.
And Misha's not ugly. I just
She's
don't
not.
remember Ronda's looks being a thing when she was ultra famous.
I don't think so.
It wasn't a thing
Yeah.
people talked about.
The UFC actually did a very, very good job of
Mhm.
making no attempt to overtly sexualize
Honestly,
any
a
female
masterful
fighters.
job with marketing her career, really from the time they got her until she retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know who never backed off of supporting her?
Who?
Dana
Dana
White.
White.
Yeah.
Never. Even to this day, still 100% on Ronda's side with everything.
Yeah. She's an innovator, a pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly. Speaking of maybe not Hall of Fame, but certainly noteworthy in terms of the record books, there has not been a year with more than 2 slam KOs. And at UFC Austin, there was 2 on the same card, and they were back to back,
They were
and
back
they
to
were
back.
fucking identical. And that's Drakkar Close who started it. Brutal against Joe Selecki. That one was so much worse
Yeah.
than the second one, which was right after when Cody Brundage did the same thing to Zachary Reese.
I love
Like
it.
the Cody Brundage one, like that was like a response to try and get out of a arm bar, right?
And he
And just
said,
happened to have, yeah,
did you see his post fight? He said the guy before me just did it, and I figured why not?
wow. So just like recency bias, like,
Yeah,
all
he
right, well,
watched
fuck,
the
let me
other
see what I
fight.
can do, to try and get out of this armbar attempt, and I'm just gonna slam him on his fucking head. I mean, it worked out in his favor, so
Yeah.
kudos for him. But
Hmm.
you're spot on. Like it makes me think about Rampage, right? When he's like fucking power bombing fools,
Hmm.
um, back in the day.
Yeah.
You just don't see that anymore because it's not really an effective technique. But of course, like me saying that, we had 2 KOs because of that last Saturday.
Hmm. Damn. So good. Uh, and then the other fights were all pretty good. And Veronica Hardy pulled it off. She looked pretty good doing it too.
Split decision, right? That was a split decision, I believe it
Yeah.
was.
Ed Hardy was very happy with that outcome.
Ed Hardy.
That's who she's married to, right?
This shirt has a tiger fighting a dragon on a skateboard. Someone's throwing a Hayukin from the corner. Yeah, you're welcome.
Definitely get a deep cut for the Ed Hardy.
That was such a deep cut.
Any other big takeaways from UFC Fight Night Austin?
No.
I thought the crowd was really engaged. That there was a lot of big cheers and uproars during all the major swings in every fight.
It was
I
a
really
really
liked
good
that.
card, is the thing.
Yeah,
It
it
was a great
was.
card. Like for a fight night card, if we had more of
We've
those,
had pay-per-views worse than that, frankly.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. You're
recently.
not wrong with
Yeah.
the volatility of like fighter injuries and like
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
late replacements. That's kind of been the bane of the UFC this year.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could get every type of traveling UFC fight night to be this good, I would
Yep.
be so stoked.
I kind of look at the Apex fight nights as kind of like the regular season, you know?
Yeah, it's almost
The
like a glorified contender series,
yes.
except they're in the UFC.
They're fights that have to happen, so let's do it. We'll put it on TV. The infrastructure's all here. They must do numbers because ESPN keeps showing them, right? They
Yeah.
must do numbers. That's the only logical conclusion.
Yeah, and I mean they're charging a ton for those tickets, but nowhere near what they would be making if they were taking it on the road. But they're also not having to pay all the
Much more
expenses of going on
expensive
the
on the
road.
road, though. Yeah.
Like that whole crew is so massive. Like you guys know me, and we've gone to fights together. We went for every single fight on the card. We got there fucking early. like,
We were
like,
outside the arena a solid 4 hours
yeah,
before the doors opened.
yeah, because we
As
wanted
well
to
we
be
should have been, frankly, and as well as every fight fan should get the most out of that day that you possibly can.
totally. I actually regret not meeting Justin Gaethje, even though he was there. That would have been a line worth waiting in for me.
Well, the thing was, he came in later,
That
and
is true.
they were already like, "Hey, we're gonna open up the doors here shortly," and we were
Yeah.
just too pumped
Yeah.
to play it cool.
Yeah,
right?
that crew's massive. The setup's huge.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder, yeah, man, I wonder how much they actually make on a fight night from the Apex. Because the packages too, there are bar included as well. Like you're paying like
But
$1,300 a ticket, and there's an open bar.
but that alcohol costs them basically nothing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's all Howler
Yeah.
Head and proper
pennies
12.
pennies on the dollar,
Yeah.
right? And they're charging a fortune for it. Actually,
to come to their
oddly
training
enough,
room.
I got an email from the UFC that said there were still a limited number of VIP tickets available for this upcoming Apex, and I didn't actually take the time to like read it and go,
You
okay,
did
well,
hit
how
your
much is
6
it?
for 6. Oh no, you hit your
No.
DraftKings. You did
I
win.
did.
So now it says tickets not available.
Shit.
Oh wait, VIP experience is available. Let's see. What do we got? So, ooh.
For which fight?
Nope.
For
Nope.
this
I'm
one?
sorry. The next one available is Ankalaev Johnny Walker on January 13th.
Oh, that's the rematch.
What do you guys think? Don't look it up. Second and third row, all inclusive. You get to get in the octagon.
Yeah,
So
they do like a
premium
whole like
seating.
before stuff, right?
Yeah, it's
2,300.
you looked it up.
No, I didn't.
I honestly, I was gonna guess $2,000. That was a very good.
Yeah,
That was a very good guess,
2350.
Aaron.
No
Twenty
way.
three
Oh
fifty.
my gosh. Oh,
You
I see.
get a
There's a
buffet and an open bar. In-seat beverage service is available. Let's see, what does that cost you? In-seat beverage service.
row 3 seats, overlook fighter walk.
That's cool.
You get to go in the
This would
octagon.
be
After the event, there could be blood everywhere. That's dope.
this would be cool to do for the right card.
Yes. Delidze Imovov is not a bad one, depending on who else is on it.
I'd really like to, and you, man. So I view an open bar as only one thing, a challenge. And so at an event like this where I also want to watch the fights, it's like which is it?
Right. So your planning is, do I make the most of this experience because I'm going to take advantage of all the amenities and get incomprehensibly drunk? Or am I going to be reasonably responsible, still have a good time,
To absorb.
but I'm there to see the fights, right, that are in front of me with this, you know, rare type of experience to see them in this close of proximity, at least for the UFC, right? You could probably go to a regional event and be cage side for $50.
Yeah, so it's that one, and here's why. Because in this fantasy, it's the three of us. We go to the event. We enjoy the drinks. I'm never not having a drink in my hand.
We will be mingling with fighters that are there in attendance.
And then we Uber back to the strip, and then it's no holds barred and incomprehensibly hammered.
Yes. Yes.
While we cash in on our many winning fight bet tickets that we've placed.
Yes.
And then I lose
that-
at the craps tables while you guys watch. That's how that night ends.
No.
So-
no, we win.
Are you a big
Oh.
craps player?
Hey, daddy. I'm a big almost everything player. That's not actually true. I play craps and blackjack almost exclusively. Why do you ask?
That's Cliff's game as well.
Oh,
remember-
And I learned how to play craps from Aaron's dad. We sat in their living room and he had a felt like craps
Yep.
table that was an overlay over the dining
I
room table.
love this so
And-
much.
Taught me like the come out roll
Uh-huh.
and making your points and like bet like common bets to make.
Yep.
6 and 8 place, everything else you buy.
Yep.
Yep. That's
And-
it right there.
I like in Vegas cheap craps. I want like a $2 to $5 minimum so I can spread my money out and play for a long time. We played when I was
Okay.
there last. We played at a really fun table at the Treasure Island. Where
Okay.
they had a live, like they had stadium seating, but with a live table. And so everybody got to
Okay.
take a turn and go up there and throw.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. At Riley and I's wedding, we had that craps table down in the Planet Hollywood that we really liked. Even though it was the computerized ones with the 2 dice and the dome in the center, we still found that
Where?
to be fun. Planet Hollywood.
The 2 dice in the dome in the center. If you don't think I could spend 4 hours at that machine, you're wrong because I can.
We
Yeah,
did.
it's Ashley's
killed it.
favorite game.
We
and
killed it.
Speaking of incomprehensibly hammered, if you think I know there was a craps table at your wedding, I don't. Because
Dude. No, Riley and I for our wedding, we like did great playing craps.
That's cool.
We made some guys across the table like on the day after our wedding, I want to say it was. We made the guy across the table a ton of fucking money. Riley had a 27 roll streak.
dude, that's then at that
Wild.
table at Treasure Island, there was a guy the night before that had gone on like a 96 roll streak.
That's fucking wild.
So
That's wild.
my wife and I learned to play craps a couple years ago, and the thing happened that has killed gamblers everywhere, where we were kind of watching a table, and then we had watched a couple YouTube videos, and then we went to one of the machines where you're kind of playing by yourself, and there's like three stations at it. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah.
And we each put in 20 and we each walked away, I'm not joking, with like $186. And so
Yeah.
we leave there thinking we're craps experts, and then it turns out we didn't actually really know how to play craps yet. But
Oh, dude.
um dude, I'll play craps on any machine, anywhere, anytime.
Oh, well, we all know then what to go to when we're in Vegas next because that's something all three of us will get down on. And it
But I
actually
also love
sounds like all of
blackjack.
our spouses would too.
Oh yeah.
I bet one of those ones with the domes, like I'm pretty sure that there's 6 or 7 spots. So like
There's as many as 10 at some of them.
yeah, we'll
Don't
fill
ask
it
how
up.
I know that.
Yeah,
At some point I'm going to tell you guys about Black Angel. You
okay.
kind of had to have been there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll come back to that at some
Okay.
point. Geez,
What were you going to say, Ryan, about craps?
Oh, I was gonna say like the machine, the craps like game.
Mm-hmm.
We could easily get all of us and our spouses onto that.
Oh, that
And here's the
just
thing: is like there's a difference on how I play that game as opposed to real craps, where I'll play a lot of don'ts.
Really?
And I'll make a lot of like more aggressive bets playing that
on a
game
machine like
than
that.
on a machine than I will playing an actual table game
Yeah.
of craps.
So
I
if
will
I'm
too.
if I'm playing like virtual blackjack or something, I'll split twos. I do all kinds of crazy shit. I actually am. You guys play blackjack at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to split your twos.
Mm-hmm.
People, that's not a thing, but like the book of blackjack is like split your aces and your eights, and I get that. Split your twos,
Of course, split your twos.
but a lot of people don't do it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I fuck.
I think
would.
they're hoping to go 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, or reversed on their next two hits, but I say split them.
Yeah. It's
Because if the 6 comes out first, you've got 8, then you've got ideally 18, which
Yeah.
is actually like my least favorite blackjack hand. But do you guys hit on 16?
no.
Never?
Well, I mean,
It depends. I think that's like a feel almost.
Yeah.
But I have hit on 16 before.
I hit on it against 10.
do you surrender if you're at a table that allows surrender?
No.
No.
And you never buy insurance.
Never buy insurance.
I have an MBA in blackjack if you guys ever want to go. We're going to. Pretty Neat Podcast does Vegas summer 2024. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, come out. International Fight Week.
There's a real chance we forget to go to the fights.
Or we're on a heater and we don't have to.
Never walk
Dude,
away.
Dude, when I'm on one of those machines for craps too, it's the same thing. I will cover the spread after the come out roll. Like
Yep.
I'll just roll. Okay, pins of 6, cool. Put one on everything, including the field. And, like,
I play
and
the
I'll
field
just-
sometimes.
And
yeah.
I'll just roll. But if I have to put my chips down and give them to the croupier, I'm like,
Mm.
this is too. I'm sorry, I'm not going to make you put this on every single number with 4 other people here.
Yeah.
I'll just take 6, 8, and 9.
Well, they have tables now that you have the little screen in front of you, and then the
I like
it's like
those.
all LED screen, the table itself.
I like those.
Yeah.
Well, we went off topic.
Listen, Pretty Neat Podcast. Come for the MMA, stay for the gambling, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah, stay for the
Exactly.
gambling talk.
Yeah.
I don't play
Speaking of-
Pai Gow or 3-card poker or any of that other shit. Miss me with that. Not interesting.
Aaron and I have a great Pai Gow poker story from
Yeah.
Laughlin.
Let's
He's
hear it.
teaching me how. Yeah, so
I'm
we
already
went to Pai
sitting here.
Gow.
We're recording our audio.
So what is the year, Aaron? I will tell you in terms of reference. Do you
was-
remember the exact year?
It was 2007 because it was the year Deathly Hollows came out and because we read it on the way there.
Yeah. So Aaron and I went to a midnight book release for Deathly Hollows.
Me too.
Yeah.
And you got random wristbands and that determined which group went to go first. And I think one of us got Slytherin, the other
We
one
both
got
did.
Gryffindor. Yeah. Okay. So we got the book at the same time. it's the same time that I'm being taught how to play craps by Aaron's dad, right? The right, the all-knowing doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and we go and we're reading it on the way out there, and we're in a similar place or like maybe a few pages ahead. But anyway, uh we're at Harris in Laughlin, and we're playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em, which we discovered, and we're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing. And we both fancied ourselves a bunch of really great poker players. So we're going to play in the local tournament the next day. And we're like, we're going to fucking clean up on these hoes.
Yeah.
Right? We're just going to smash on these people.
Yeah, we
I
are.
love it.
But as you're playing, right, when you're gambling, at the time, it was free drinks. So it's just whiskey sour, whiskey sour.
It still
whiskey
is.
Sour,
What are you
whiskey
talking
sour,
about?
Whiskey sour, whiskey sour. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I don't know.
In Vegas, it for sure still is.
Mhm.
So we're getting them in, and I'm hammered.
Yeah, you were.
And Aaron's like, let's go play Pai Gow poker. And I was like, I don't know how to play. He's like,
And by whiskey sour, you mean they poured some whiskey and a lot of lemon juice in a glass and handed it to you?
Mostly,
Yeah.
yes. Mostly. So in Pai Gow poker, if anybody who's unfamiliar, you have your pre-hand bonus bet, right? Where you can put $1 chip on your bonus bet. And usually you have to break a $5 chip to get singles.
God,
and I ran out, and I put instead of having a $1 chip, I put a $5 chip in my bonus bet. And guess what happened?
You got
I got dealt a straight flush in Pai Gow. And I pick up my hand, mind you, hammered.
And you do or don't have the bonus bet down?
It does, and it's 5 times.
Okay, it's a 5 times the normal amount.
Oh yeah.
I pick up my hand and I go, I think I got a flush, right? I think I got a flush. And Aaron's like, hey dude, you got a straight fucking flush. And I put my hand down. I'm like, I got a straight flush. And it plays out and I'm all pumped up. And the dealer's like, did you have that bet down? And like looks at my bonus
7
bet.
card?
It's a $5. Yeah, 7 card.
Oh my God. 8,000 to 1?
Yeah.
No,
so wait.
Didn't. No, you had a 5 card straight flush.
5 card straight flush.
50 to 1.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, so you walked out with $35,000? What?
$35,000. No. So and the dealer goes, did you have that bet down? And they had to call over the pit boss and look and be like, review the hand. And then he's like, yeah, pay him. So yeah, that's my Pai Gow story.
I love that.
I have, as Aaron knows, like extreme beginner's luck. Extreme. Like everything that Aaron's taught me how to play, I have like hit some type of like jackpot multiplier or something.
Yeah.
Let It Ride was another one.
Dude,
this is how you play. And I'm like, oh cool. Here's like
2 full houses.
Here's a couple full houses.
Oh, good Lord.
Bro, I am.
You're like, I have 3 of this one and 2 of this one. And everybody else is like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
It's like the
3-card poker. I think I hit a 4 of a kind.
Wait, what?
It's just
my mom
wild.
is a 3-card poker fiend.
Yeah, that one's wild.
You guys ever played Blackjack Down Under at Excalibur, where dreams are made and the bathroom is everywhere? Yeah, got him. Fucking got him. I try every week, right? I try every week, and I can almost never do it.
Where dreams are made in the bathroom is everywhere. Oh god.
Fun story. I thought I had lost a pair of AirPods at Excalibur. Yeah.
I forgot that sound effect.
I thought I had lost a pair of AirPods at the Excalibur once, and they were like, well, hang on. And they come back with like a plastic bin of like 50. And they're like, I mean, if you open up your phone and it looks like it's near here, we'll give them to you. It turned out they weren't there. I found them like a year and a half later. That's not really the point. But they were like, because you lost these, here's 4 free drink tickets. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. It's kind of secretly one of my favorite casinos to gamble at. Anyway, have you guys played Blackjack Down Under there?
No.
So show me, give me that one right there, Aaron. Yeah, so what they do here, The dealer looks at the face down card and puts it in one of those spots so you have an idea of what it is.
Oh shit.
And now you might think, oh, well, that'd be way easier to play. No, it's way fucking harder.
No way.
Yeah.
So like the dealer's face up card will be like a 7, and then they'll
Yeah.
put the face down over here in large if
Exactly.
it's one of these, and it might be an ace.
Yep.
Well, then it's 18, so maybe that's a bad example. Okay. That just adds a whole different layer, so I can see how it would be.
I haven't done it there in a couple years. I don't know if they still do it, but as recently as like 2021, I played it there and I was like, fuck this.
Blackjack down under.
And my sister-in-law, my wife's younger sister, it was my wife and I and her sister and her husband. The four of us went for like a long weekend to Vegas a couple years ago. And my sister-in-law was like, all right, I'm ready. And she played War at Excalibur.
That's awesome.
And she lost like all 20 of the dollars she put down, or $40, whatever it was she put down. And she's like, so I just lose it? And we were like, yep. She's like, I'm not gambling anymore. It was a pretty fun.
Speaking
Not
of
first time,
speaking of
not
war,
beginner's luck.
the movie Vegas Vacation is also very good.
Oh, so good.
Speaking of casino war, that's like one of the best scenes.
The
Where they
which
go to
hands it which hand is it when he's got his hands behind? He's like
pick a number.
left.
You fucking pick a number. That was my favorite. Oh my god.
Eddie,
Okay.
these are my games. So good.
Let's talk about other games that we can
The
win.
Pretty Neat Vegas podcast.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
So I had a good Monday night. Did you guys
Uh-huh.
catch that? I got both of my NBA picks, and
I
3
saw
out of
that.
3 it ended up being, which was nice. It was nice to
And then you got it's a nice thing that the aforementioned company that shall not be named will do a reboot
yes.
on people that exit with injury early in the contest. I am very appreciative of that because I
Me
also
too.
had that player, Christian Kirk, in a 6-player pick. And I was like, fuck, and then I saw that it was listed as a reboot. And I actually hit on 4 of the remaining 5
Nice.
on that night, which was, it's nice. But at the same time, they don't have to do that. But the fact that
No.
they do is
Mhm.
excellent.
I agree.
So you
But
hit
before
on
we-
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
what does that pay out for you if you hit
Well, so they
the
were
5 of
two
5?
they were two different tickets. So the first one was just a 2-pick. Derek White, 9 points and assists, 19 and a half. He had 24. And then Brandon Ingram had 30 points, 22 and a half was the over under.
Nice.
So that paid out basically 3-1. And then the NFL one that I played, Jake Browning over under rushing yards, 12 and a half. He's Cincinnati's backup quarterback. He had 22. Trevor Lawrence completed 22 passes before he got injured.
Yeah.
And then Evan Ingram receiving targets. So I was reading the tight ends have just feasted against Cincinnati. And so he got off to a slow start. I did benefit from that game going into overtime on that one.
Absolutely. Yep.
But that paid out 2.5-1.
Okay, that's good. And you're right about Evan Ingram had a hell of a game. He actually had the most targets of
Mhm.
all the
9. Yeah.
receivers in that game for Jacksonville, I should say. Jamar Chase, my God, just
Dude.
eating people up.
So on that note, are you watching Hard Knocks in season?
No, I am not. Should I be?
Yes. Yeah, it's good. Tyreek Hill, man. It's crazy to think that he was on the Chiefs.
I know.
It's so crazy.
He could win MVP this year.
He really probably should. The
Because he's
notion that
probably-
it should go
he's
to Brock
probably
Purdy
good.
is fucking crazy.
Well, there's some bias there, but also like
No,
in terms
no.
of individual achievement, Individual
Give
achievement,
put
yes.
swap Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert.
Oh my God. The 49ers never lose a game.
And do the Chargers even win one? Let's be real.
Probably not.
Probably not. So I'm removing my bias. I'm taking away my Niners hatred. Brock Purdy has done everything they have wanted him to do and more. But he has two all-pro receivers, an elite offensive line with probably the best left tackle in football, and an absolutely elite multi-purpose. He's like a Swiss Army knife of tools behind him. And a coach who is so I actually was Aaron having a discussion about this with a friend of ours. Um Kyle Shanahan is not an elite coach because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's as good as it gets as at offensive scheming. And Brock Purdy benefits from all of those things. The idea that you could put Brock Purdy on a team like the Chargers, on a team like even Houston, on a team like Chicago, or even the Rams, although that's closer to what the Niners do. The idea that he could, again, the Chargers is the best example. If you right now, if no, there's no trade deadline, no cap rules, anything like that. One for one, would the Niners make that trade today? Justin Herbert for Brock Purdy?
Of course.
So he's not
Of
the
course.
MVP. So he's not the MVP. It's that simple. So anyway, Tyreek should be MVP, and you know who really comes out as the star of Hard Knocks in season is Tua. Like
How so?
crazy likable,
Okay.
super humble, super like he's like organizing the quarterback room, Secret Santa. He's fucking jacked, which I didn't know. He's super accurate. Like then at one point, the team CEO in the newest episode, the team CEO is talking to Mike McDaniel, their fucking bonkers head coach, and he's like,
I enjoy his like humor.
"Oh, I enjoy everything about him. He's great. He's super unique, right?" So at one point,
Yeah.
the team's CEO and chairman, like a guy who probably doesn't have a ton of football acumen, is watching Tua practice and standing next to McDaniel, and he's like, "Why are his feet so spread? It seems like they should be closer together." And McDaniel just launches into this crazy like, "Here are all the reasons you want him like that," and Tua works so hard at this, and look how quickly he can get the ball out. And I'm like, "Fuck, this is cool." Like it's such a cool. You really get like the closest you're ever gonna get to like a day by day of what it takes to play at that level.
Yeah.
And Hard Knocks preseason is good, but Hard Knocks in season, I think it adds one extra layer because you get the episode on
It's
Tuesday and
yeah,
it's like 10 days behind. So it just happened.
it's next level. Also, Mike McDaniel, he's from the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree.
Sean McVay too. Yep. No, he's not from the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. He was on that Washington staff that had Shanahan and Sean McVay, and I think Zach Taylor, right?
Zach Taylor?
There's
Is
like
it Zach
four guys.
Taylor?
They show it in the most recent episode. There's four guys who are now head coaches. McVay won the Super Bowl. Where did Zach Taylor come from?
Oh, Zach Taylor, Cincinnati head coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Also a very good coach. I think he was with the Rams,
very
wasn't
good.
he?
I You are probably
Yep.
right.
He was the Rams receivers coach and quarterbacks
Okay.
coach, but only until 2018, and then the Bengals snapped him up. But he is
So
not
did the
from.
Chargers just get the worst Rams coach? Should we have gone for somebody else?
I'm going to be honest with you. The hire of him is defensible. Keeping him this long is indefensible. That's really the
It's like,
problem.
did we pick the wrong Rams
Hey,
coach?
they won 6-0 against one of the worst teams in football history. So
Oh
there's
my
that.
God, man. Come on, man.
How about my Rams, baby?
Dude, the Rams are in playoff position.
Put some fucking respect on their names, Aaron. Put some fucking. I am so, even my dad, who was a Rams season ticket holder in the '80s and is a lifelong basically Rams fan, at least in the time they've been here. He's like, I don't think they're that good when they were 3-6. I was like, I have watched every snap they've played this year. They are better than this record shows. If Stafford is healthy, just watch. I was saying it on this show.
So that's the big key is Stafford being healthy because he
Well,
kind of
yeah.
makes everything go.
We're not
And
going to
Puka,
pretend that
Puka's been a
fucking
revelation.
who is. Why am I blanking on Cleveland's pass rusher. What is his name?
Miles Garrett.
Yeah, why am he? We benefited from him being injured, but he's not a
Oh yeah.
17-point swing guy. Puka
No,
is
no,
great. I don't know though. If, in fairness, put Puka on the Raiders. I don't think he has this season. Let's be real. Um,
no. You need somebody that's going to be able to throw you the ball.
so
But
Higby
it,
has not been practicing this week. They need him. He does a lot for them that does not show up in the stat sheets. So it'll be interesting to see, um, kind of how that develops over the course of the week.
yeah, and Puka with the AC sprain, which actually is a similar injury that Keenan Allen has. So obviously there is the ability to play through it.
What is
It
the
just
AC?
your AC joint, it's in your shoulder.
Oh yeah, Puka landed hard for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I love about Sean McVay is I love a lot of things about Sean McVay, but when they asked him about Puka a couple games into the season, like they're like, "Where is this success coming from?" And his answer, he was like, "He's winning his matchups. Like he's beating his defender, and Stafford is finding him. It's not rocket science. Like that's what he's doing." And I'm so in on just the Rams organization as a whole. They're not legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I know that. I just think people pick them to have the worst record in football at the start of the year.
Yeah. I
Dude,
mean,
Carolina is in this league. What are we even talking about? Like,
there's a
don't
lot of question
even
marks, but you know,
don't even with that shit.
it's what I told you on Sunday. They're a well-run organization.
Yep.
And you can overcome a lot of deficiencies with, perceived talent just by being well run.
100%, which has been the Angels' problem for so long. And what, have you been following this MLB offseason?
Yes, I have. Aaron, have
Thoughts?
you been following the offseason?
Not very much.
So there's a lot of like backlash for how Shohei is being secretive
I think
in
it's despicable.
like people like that's his choice. So let me understand. Like Dom, are you saying despicable for the backlash and the criticism?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We're on the same page. Because I'm like, if he chooses to hold meetings and not really reveal details of that, that's his choice.
What about anything the last 6 or 7 years of watching him play baseball makes you think he wants the spotlight,
Right.
other than when he's
He's
on the field in a uniform?
performance. Yeah. He just wants to be critiqued on his performance.
He doesn't even want
which-
people to know that fucking Beagle's name.
Don't talk about my beagle.
Hey, well, yeah.
Don't talk about my dog. All right.
What do you think's going to happen?
Uh, so recently I noticed, I know that he met with Dave Roberts and some Dodgers brass for
Yeah.
3 hours.
Toronto too.
Yeah, he's not going to Toronto.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to think it could happen. That lineup with him in it is
And with
so
Vlad Guerrero. Oh
and
yeah.
Bo Bichette, dude.
Wow.
And fucking George Springer, so stacked.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think it happens. I think your previous statement, which I agreed with, at the time, that it's either the Dodgers or the Angels, still makes the most sense for everything we know about him and having more of a West Coast bias to get more support from the Japanese audience. Not to say that there's not a ton of Japanese support in Toronto. I don't know, right? I've never lived in Toronto.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah.
But my perception is there's not as much Japanese like support and presence in Toronto as opposed to LA or Anaheim, which is essentially LA, which is why he likely goes to either of those two teams. And Ron Washington saying like kind of being coy about his responses with Shohei.
That was a strange thing to say.
Yeah.
I think so I've watched damn near every game he's played in his entire career as in Major League Baseball. And I've been to many of them. I've been to seminal moments at Angel Stadium, his Angel Stadium home opener. I've been to all these things. He is so he was the highest paid player in all of baseball last year. He made more money than any baseball player. His salary was $30, 30 million. He made about 35 million elsewhere. So the money is not really a factor for him because it's going to be there no
Yep.
matter where he goes. The reason I think Toronto is a threat is because he could be in relative obscurity there.
Oh, okay. I see where
And I
where
think
you're
that's
coming
kind
from.
of part of the reason he ended up in Anaheim in the first place, and part of the reason I think that I am starting to think, and this is not a hopeful thing for me. I am starting to think it's either going to be the Blue Jays or the Angels because I do think he values that type of obscurity. Um, as far as he tells the Angels when he's going to pitch. When you watch the games on a random Tuesday night and it's been 2 days since he last pitched, they'll be like, okay, so Shohei will now be pitching on Sunday. It's like that. The TV guys are being fed that from the front office who Shohei told them when he's pitching. Like the Angels are one of the only teams that will let him do that. I don't know if the Blue Jays will let him do that or not. I have heard that a lot of players don't like to go there because of going through customs that many times per year is a super pain in the dick. Um,
Ooh, pain in the dick.
there was absolutely no chance he ended up with the Yankees or the Mets or the Red Sox. Anyone who thought that was going to happen is they're fucking dumb. The Cubs, I also don't think that I think there's still a chance he ends up in San Francisco actually, but I really do think it's Angels or Blue Jays. And part of me thinks, and again, so my grandma and I've told you guys, every single home opener since '04, um, we have probably been to 10 to 15 games a year now for 20 consecutive years. She watches every game on TV. She sits and scores at home. We have a text message thread with my uncle who lives in New Jersey, who is also a huge Angel fan. Does not miss a game, goes when they're in Baltimore, goes when they're in Boston, goes when they're in Philly, because that's where he lives in Jersey. Refuses to go to New York City for whatever reason. My aunt won't go with him, but whatever. Um, also, my aunt, born and raised New Yorker, her whole family's from Italy. You think she can make you a fucking manicotti? Yeah, she can. Um, so the numbers are starting to approach 600 million for him.
Yes.
They have been in the camp of we have to keep him, we have to keep him, we have to keep him. And the 600 million, they're both like, no. You could build 3 spring training complexes for $600 million. So it's too much money. I really do think 600 is unreasonable. I am not a athletes are overpaid guy. They generate more than they get paid almost always. But I just think 600 million is just too much. I really do. But if he's gonna come back to Anaheim, it's gonna be 625 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it'll be like
But
a
I also do
trickling.
think there'll be like an opt out after 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that as well.
Because remember, he's not going to pitch this year, and whatever team he goes to is going to have to be on board with his rehab plan.
Yeah. But having
Okay.
him as the DH is still amazing.
It
Let's
is it is fascinating because he is, let's just say it. Oh shit, Juan Soto to the Yankees
I saw that.
just in the last 20 minutes.
Uh that's good for both teams. I think
The Padres had to get
the
away from
Padres
that.
had to
Yeah.
get away from Juan Soto,
Mhm.
and the Yankees get somebody who's just going to crush 40 home runs. in
And
that
they're going to
park.
give him a crazy deal. So it'll be interesting to see if they sign him before Otani signs. Because if he gets 400 plus million, Otani is for sure getting 6.
Yeah, I agree.
Juan Soto is fucking good though.
He didn't play that way in San Diego, but San Diego is a pitcher's park.
I would
So
argue his numbers don't agree with you, to be honest.
they,
Let's
that
see.
they
In San Diego, he was a 5.5 WAR. He hit 275, 35 home runs, 109 RBIs. He got on base at a 410 clip, which is what he does. Played solid defense. Yeah. I would say he played like it. He played in 100 he had 156 hits. How many games did he play? He played in 162 games. I mean, hard to, yeah, the numbers are there. 132 walks. He struck out 129 times. You know how few guys walk more than they strike out now?
Very few.
Juan Soto's a fucking beast. Also, I don't know that he's actually 25 or whatever they say he is, but sure, let's go with it. All right, sorry, Aaron. That's been our other sports sidebar for tonight.
That was the pretty neat version.
The sidebar is where if you hit the ball, it's a foul, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, on the side.
It's the bar on the side. Unless it goes between the bars, then it's a field goal. Got
The
it.
amount of missed extra points on Sunday, but I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, I'm gonna stay away from field goals made in
Dude, I have been burned on that
picks.
like 5 straight weeks, so I'm also staying away
Yeah,
from it.
I
Also, shout out you for being like, let's bet on golf, because I also hit that on Sunday. And Tiger, greatest golfer who's ever lived.
Yeah.
If he's, and he was not in competition to win on Sunday, but if he's playing on Sunday, 5.5 birdies, always take the over.
It was 4.5, and we both took the over.
Oh, was it only 4.5? Even more
was
to my
4.5.
point.
Yeah.
And did you see any of it? He looked fucking jacked.
So yeah, that's the thing I was like running through my brain on Sunday was Tiger Woods, super jacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
We feel like at any point in time, Tiger's been on that PED sauce because he's just way too big.
What's that I hear?
It's just
Is that
TRT.
golfer.
Is that a big heavy door creaking open? What?
Tiger Woods, like, did he say like, fuck it, my long-term health, I want to be super ultra competitive right now and let me get on that sauce so I can hit it 350 yards on the drive?
Possible.
It just like his legs, right? His legs, his knees, his back.
It was his shoulders and his back that got my attention.
He's just paying the price for it now.
He had
But
McGuire
he's
across the back of his
massive.
polo.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you got a lot of for a 40-year-old man, there's a lot of back acne going on. What's going on with what's up
Tiger
with that?
Sosa.
So my grandma also with her late husband, who, I mean, he's been gone for like 12 or 13 years, but their vacation structure was around golf, right? She's a huge golf fan, huge golfer. They worked, I guess, in a volunteer capacity at Torrey Pines for the big tournaments there a few years in a row.
Yeah.
And she said, and this is like late 90s, early 2000s, like Tiger's absolute apex, right? And she said you would hear the crowd swell from 3 holes away. And if you've ever been on a golf course, 3 holes away may as well be fucking 6 towns over. And then she said the very first time it ever happened, I'm standing there and I hear this like rumbling and I'm like, what's that? And it was on, I don't know what, I guess it couldn't have been on a Sunday. But then somebody was like, oh, Tiger's coming. And he's walking down with his caddy and there's just a fucking mob of people behind him. That type of run's never happening again.
That's wild. I hope
What's
they make a sequel to Happy Gilmore. And
the driver cover? No, it doesn't need a sequel. The driver cover, is it Hank? What's that fucking? Have you guys seen his driver cover? That's a tiger.
No.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I didn't know it had a name.
It does. It's like a tiger head. Its name is Frank, not Hank. Sorry, Frank.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah. And Tiger is not his name, right?
Yeah. It's I don't know. His mom calls him his actual first name, right?
Eldrick. You know what his net worth is?
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
North of $1 billion, sir. Although what? Apparently, he's not going to be a Nike guy anymore.
Oh, really?
I
Hmm.
know he hasn't been wearing their shoes since that car crash, but they were like their foot joys with. There's no way Nike will keep him. They have a building named after him anyway. Sorry.
Let's make some MMA picks.
All right.
Yeah, we got to make
Is
them
there a
good.
prop for Tim Elliott's wife? Oh.
Unfortunately, there's not. In fact,
Oh.
there's no props for Tim Elliott or his opponent Sumar Darji because Tim is a last minute replacement. So
So this
we
is
don't get
another 6 fight main card? No,
Yeah.
5. No, it's 5.
it's 5, but we're gonna have to go into the prelims to
All
fill
right.
out our
So
six
Song
picks.
Kanan and Kevin Juicet. Let's
Yes.
let's be real. I don't know anything about either of these guys.
None of them. I mean,
Uh,
I do we go
so
lower? Because I mean,
uh,
I got where are we gonna go?
Tatsuro Taira is 14-0
That's the
in the
big name.
flyweight divisions.
No, so Kevin Juicet is on the board.
He is on the
Mhm.
board.
Yep.
We can't go lower. Let's stay
Okay.
true to the game.
All right, so we're going up to Kevin Uset.
Well, is the game to win money or is the game to pick the top 6 fights?
What is the game?
The game is to win money. You're right, you
Then-
son of
then-
a bitch.
Then we should go down to at least the fighters we know
All right.
because we're gonna have to fill in 2
Okay.
from out of this as well. So maybe
Okay.
we'll still
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah, we're gonna
All
have
right.
we're gonna have to go beyond the main card because
You
there are a
got
couple
me.
that are
All
not
right.
that are not
We all want to make
in
money.
our pick selection. So I think we should start with Tatsuro Taira and Carlos Hernandez.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Tatsuro, he
Flyweight
is
14-0.
he's undefeated being in the UFC. He's 14-0. He's undefeated in general. And in his last 4 fights, he's had 2 decisions and 2 subs. So he's a ground guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not always guaranteed to have a finish. And if we look at strikes, right, he's like a middle of the pack kind of guy. His defense is
Great
his
defense.
defense, I think, is more so like his physical pressure and trying to go for the takedown. So I'm looking at my 2 things are this. Not even that, Aaron.
Really?
My thought is under on fantasy or over on takedowns.
97.5 jumps out at me is pretty high. However, he is a minus 535 favorite. Maybe that's how they're getting there.
So like let's go back to our earlier conversation.
He
at the beginning of
averages
this podcast.
2.41 takedowns per 15 minutes. What's his
And-
fight
and-
time, Aaron?
His fight time is 12.5 over under
No, I know. What's his average fight time, though?
10.
11.
10, 11. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So if so
I know
betting
where I'm
odds
at on
say-
this one.
If a betting odds says that his fight time is 12.5 minutes as the over underline,
No,
then I'm
10 minutes 55. No, sorry. Yes.
the bet,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
betting
yeah.
line is 12.5 minutes.
And Carlos is at 12
Yes.
on average. Yeah.
Then I'm taking the under on the fantasy score. That's where my head's at.
Aaron, where was your head at?
My head was under on the significant strikes.
Because you think it's going to be a ground affair?
I think it's going
And
to
he's
be a
gonna go for a
ground
sub?
game. I think he's going to go for a sub. It's going to be early, which could lend to some wavering on the fantasy score for me. Because I think he could hit that in a first or second round finish. And if he gets a couple takedowns and a few strikes, he'll pass that 97 in the second round. But the significant strikes is I don't think he's going to want to stand up with Carlos.
If we round his fight time up to 11,
Look at Carlos has landed per minute, almost 6 strikes.
Tatsuro averages about 33 significant strikes per fight per his average fight time. That's not a terrible idea. I was going to say hammer the over on takedowns.
That was my next. take on it was if he's not gonna submit him early, then it's because Carlos gets back up. And if he gets back up, Tatsuro's got to take him down.
However, and you are correct about that 100%. However, to Ryan's point on the under of the 97.5, the under 45.5 kind of fits the same thing.
It does.
If it becomes a takedown sub fest, then we don't have to really worry about the significant strikes. I'd be comfortable with the under on either of those. And on honestly, the over on takedowns. The only thing I want to stay away from is fight time.
Same on the fight time. The heavy favoritism of Tatsuro here kind of bothers me too. Like, is the expectation that Tatsuro is just that much better? And if he is,
I think he
should
is that
submit
much
him
better.
He should submit him in the first round, is what I'm thinking.
Which still gives
is
us the under on significant strikes.
but over on fantasy.
Yeah, but are you really comfortable betting the over on that?
No. No, I think what Aaron's
I'm
trying
not.
to say is like we take the under on significant strikes
Mm-hmm.
in those scenarios that it seems to be the common play.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it, Ryan?
I'm good. I'm good with the under on sig strikes.
Yeah, me too.
Because 45.5, he'd really have to hammer it home, and this would have to be a long.
His
fight.
average is a solid 12 significant strikes less.
Yeah. So let's do that. All right. So we
I
picked
like
that
it.
one. I would.
Which other main card fight is not on the board? Lionheart?
No,
Yeah,
just
the
the
Lionheart
Tim.
fight.
Oh yeah, it's
Well,
not.
it's the Tim, and then Anthony Smith is also a late replacement. He's not on the board.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I would have. Oh yeah, no, yeah, it is. You're
All
right.
right,
It is.
cool.
Damn
Yeah.
it. Because I definitely think that Khalil wins that fight, but
So then
Let's-
Jun Young Park and Andre Muniz is next?
Yeah.
the Iron Turtle.
Jun Young?
We'll still have to
Jun
pick
Young.
6 though,
Jun
right?
Young.
Yeah, that was 1 and then 5 more.
Yep.
We're only picking 4 from a. Oh wait, is there 6 fights?
No. You're right.
Because Tim Elliott's not on here.
All right, so we got to go one.
we have to pick
further
one more
into
from the under.
prelims.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be the feature prelim.
Song
Kanal,
Keenan.
Kevin just said.
Yeah. It's Kevin on the board.
Okay, so he's the favorite, just barely. Okay. So we get 13.5 minutes fight time, 60.5 significant strikes, or an 89.5 fantasy score.
So
Hmm.
my initial reaction to all 3 of those numbers is they're very off-putting and I want to stay away from them. If I can be 100% transparent with all of you, those numbers feel like the odds makers know something. And that
So look
fight
at-
time one, especially because we've only seen 12.5 minutes for 15-minute fights.
Kevin's average fight time is 15 minutes, which means
Oh,
he goes to the decision
always.
almost all of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his play. Wow.
Hmm.
This is like one of the first ones.
Do we pivot and pick one of the other undercard fights?
Yeah. Let's look at the fight before this.
Yeah, I'm not opposed.
So that's Hyunsung Park and Shannon Ross.
So
'Cause I think
another
that's
one,
also a pretty heavy favorite for Hyungsung Park. Shannon Ross also, I think, coming in on short notice.
yeah, Hyungsung Park is 8-0, South
Ooh,
Korea.
the fight time 5 minutes for Hyunsung Park.
Woo!
118.5 fantasy score. That's
Oh
even
my
even
gosh.
higher than fucking Armin Sarukian.
Look at that.
21.5 significant strikes. They don't think this thing's gonna last very long, do they?
No, they don't.
No odds though on ESPN's on UFC's website. Do we have fight odds on this thing? Anywhere? Let's see.
Yeah, let me know if you find
Yeah,
some.
Park is a minus 600 per ESPN bet.
Oh wow. And look at these fight times. Average fight time for Hyunsung Park is 6 minutes 44 seconds. Shannon Ross is 3 minutes 33 seconds. I mean, these guys must be throwing. Oh, Shannon
Yeah.
Ross is. Look at how much he absorbs. He's got a negative strike differential. Okay. I'm starting to understand why these are so.
Oh, not just a
high.
negative, like
like a
almost
healthy.
33% negative. That's
Yeah.
yeah,
This screams first round knockout for Park Hyun Sung.
it does. It just that makes me so nervous.
Yeah. Like this is one where I would totally stay away from the significant strikes
Mm-hmm.
because you
And that
can,
fantasy score is high.
yeah, because I mean, uh, Jalen Turner landed 13 unanswered significant strikes
Right.
in 4 seconds.
To an
So,
unconscious Bobby Green.
yeah, like to me, this is a fight. This is, oh man, this is fight time.
I feel like it's the only one that makes sense.
And it's,
I agree. I think fight time, and I I assume we're all on the under here.
I mean, how on earth could we take the over?
it feels like
Even
you
though I
can't.
don't feel like it's gonna hit, I'm gonna say that right now. Um, I still think the smart bet is the under. It seems like Hansung Park is just gonna fuck him up.
Yeah, and you know what? Shannon is going to throw 35 strikes in or
And
almost in that first minute. And if one of them catches, that's still under
Hansung
5 minutes.
Hyun Sung does not get hit. He only absorbs 2.6 per minute.
Yeah. And if this is his unlucky day, I still think that would happen early.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, that's ending in the first round.
All
We're
right.
doing it. That moves us into
Park
the
doesn't have to win.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and I think that's kind of good when you get these tiny flyweights because
Yeah.
I mean they're going to be throwing. Um,
So now we have the Iron Turtle. Great
yes,
nickname. Great nickname.
Great
yes.
nickname.
Turtles in general underrated.
Yeah, Teenage Ninja ones.
So 8.5 minutes fight time, 30.5 significant strikes, 93.5 fantasy score for Jung Young Park.
So he's fighting Andre Muniz. Andre Muniz just recently got knocked out by Paul Craig.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a BJJ guy. And Jin Young Park, who has won a ton of fights by sub, but it's been more of the club and sub variety.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the over on significant strikes is where I land on this one.
Ooh.
His ability to defend on the takedown
Not what I
Yep.
was expecting.
and keep it standing, because it's 30 and a half.
Yeah,
And look at what he's landing almost 5
Average
a minute.
fight time 11. So
they expected.
it's got to go 2 rounds. And then
At
we
least.
probably hit that number.
I like where Ryan is
Okay.
at with both these guys being grapplers. And this was like the Benoit Saint Denis Matt Frevola fight, where it was like these guys are both wrestling heavy. They're gonna go out there and bang, and that's exactly what they did.
They did.
So like I feel like this is a similar situation where these guys won't want to go to the ground because they're equal in submission threat. So I think they'll throw more than they normally
But why is the fight time over under so low? It's the 2 rounds. I answered my own question. It's the 2 rounds thing. If
Yeah,
it goes over 2 rounds, we hit the significant strikes, I think.
yeah. Which that could lend to the I don't think this is going to be first round. I mean,
So for what it's worth, Muniz averages just about 9 minutes a fight, 2 seconds less, and
okay.
Park averages 11.
Okay. And Park is hitting harder. He's gonna headhunt
So
more.
it could be the over on fight time. Both of their averages suggest it. So it's that 8:31 into the second,
Interesting.
or 3:31 into the second round, 8:31 into the fight.
How bad was I remember Zhang Young Park's last fight. He lost, correct?
No, he
I
won.
think he won. I think he's on
He
a
beat
4-fight win
Juriev.
streak.
Oh, okay. And who did Muniz lose to? You said?
Paul Craig.
Oh, that's right.
Paul Craig at his 185 debut.
Okay.
Yeah, this Jun Young
not-
Park does not have a lot of notable guys on his record.
Interesting.
This wine
Well,
bottle was full when I started the show with you guys, just so you know.
one thing I remember about
I'm not a
Andre,
beer guy anymore.
uh,
I like wine and cocktails now, so fuck you.
Andre Muniz broke Jacare's arm.
Yes.
He's a very
Oh,
he's a violent
The worst break.
he's a
that
violent
the
fighter.
sound. Oh
So
my, I
bad.
can still hear it.
So there
Woo.
might be an element of violence to
Mm-hmm.
this one.
Ooh, an element of violence. That'd be a good 90s rock band name.
It's the name of the episode.
Yeah, yes, it
This
is.
is the name of the episode.
Ooh.
An element of violence.
Dip, 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 dip.
Uh, man, this one is so hard.
That's what she said.
I'm leaning on the fight time.
I
You're taking the over on fight time, Aaron?
I'm taking the under on fight time.
why?
If these guys are big, I'm not gonna deny that. I could see a club and sub early. I feel like they're gonna. I don't. I feel like if there's a submission attempt on either end, it could end badly for either one.
Man, Park in his last 6 fights has been right around 8.5, give or take, on average. So it's tough.
Yeah.
Were you saying under on significant strikes or
I was-
over, Ryan?
I was
Over.
I was thinking over on that initially.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smarter bet.
I'm inclined to agree with both of you. Let's get it, and we'll hit the next
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Because yeah, I think that'll happen. Some good kicks. There'll be some fisticuffs. Yeah, that's what happens. Cool. Then we got Tim Elliott and Sumadarje, but
No, they're not on there, I thought.
No,
Yeah,
no
okay.
picks.
No.
Um,
No,
So-
Tim Elliott's coming in like
Still a good
few
fight.
days notice.
So let me do this one. We have Nazrat, slightly smaller Kelvin Gastelum hack press, and Jamie just a bunch of malarkey. You're fucking welcome.
I liked all of that so much.
Sometimes-
we only have two options for this fight.
You know what my favorite thing is when I have the fights on, my wife will be like, "Oh, what do you think's gonna happen?" I'll be like, "Well, you listen every week, right? So you know what I think's gonna happen." She's like, "Oh yeah, but I forgot."
Like, come on, like we cover this on the podcast.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, we've only got significant strikes, 75.5 and fantasy score of 90.
Dude, 75.5 seems like a lot of strikes.
It's a lot of fucking strikes.
And 90 and a
It's,
half feels like a really high fantasy score.
Yeah, so I feel like the under on either of these is where I would lean. And I honestly think I go under on fantasy score. What is Nazrat landing? Well, that's a lot of significant strikes. per
Yeah,
minute.
5.7, and he averages just under 13 minutes. So that's going to get you right in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. They're not.
But he also gets hit.
A fight.
And a third round win, should he finish the fight in the third round, it would also
50
be a
points.
knockdown, as I think we've learned.
It is.
62 points if he wins in the third
By stoppage?
by stoppage. Plus, you got to add in all of the significant strikes, takedowns, knockdowns from the previous round.
But then why is that why is that number so high? I wish we could see his average fantasy score on this
Fantasy
app.
score. I know.
Yeah. Well, I think about a 13-minute fight with 6. What's 13 times 6? 678.
Yeah.
So 0.4.
It's right in that
that's
range. It's
about
right
30
there.
Yeah, it's like 30 something points plus the 62 for winning in round 3.
Mhm.
That's gets you
That's
right there.
90. Yeah.
So basically 90, if you're picking the under, you're saying this goes to decision. And if you're picking
Yes, but it's also who do you think's gonna win?
yeah.
So
I think
Nazrat
Nazrat wins.
is the betting favorite everywhere.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. I like
Hmm.
Nazrat in this too.
This is the toughest one we've had so far.
Jamie Malarkey has the reach in this fight, right?
Mm,
Leg and fist, I think. 74.
yes. No, not leg.
Oh, interesting that that Mini Galvin has a 2-inch reach advantage on the legs, but a 2 reach disadvantage in the arms.
Shorter torso.
There you go. Um,
Shorter torso. We
uh,
What
should
it is.
besmirch the name of small Kelvin Gastelum like that.
He's got a shorter torso. His
He
legs are
does.
longer.
You're
we
right.
spurged the name of small Kelvin Gaston. I love you. You're the best.
I have a way with words. I try.
You do. It's a great podcast, by the way. Uh, Jamie Malarkey is also just a surprising guy. He's really tough. He can take punches.
Is he a CKB guy?
He's a good boxer. He's a really good boxer.
And
I don't
Jamie
know.
Malarkey, CKB guy.
No, Central Coast MMA.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I have no idea where to go. Morocco is my one of my favorite pavilions at Epcot, so we could go that direction. And there is our weekly Disney tie-in, listeners. I know you've been waiting for it. We're almost 2 hours into this bitch, and you were like, "Where's the Disney talk?"
Where's the Disney?
Here it is, motherfucker. Here it is.
uh this is weird, but I'm sort of getting the urge to go Nasrat over on the fantasy score.
I will say this before you go, Ryan, because you're gonna have a way smarter take than what I'm about to say. I feel like either one of these we go with, it's the over.
Interesting.
75.5 is so many, though.
And that's the
So
yeah. That's so hard because like you can achieve the 75 and over without achieving that fantasy score.
Mm-hmm.
But you can but you could achieve the fantasy score without those strikes. Because he's gonna
yes,
hit
but
he'd
that
have to
would
finish the
require an
fight.
early stoppage. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would require an early stoppage to get there.
This to me,
Yeah.
so neither of these guys are really grapplers. This
Not
to
even
me,
early.
this is
This
one of those classic. I'm sorry, Aaron, to cut you off.
Yeah.
One of those classic fight night cards where, and right in the middle of the main card where these two guys just slug each other for 3.5 rounds.
Oh, they totally could.
This has this written all over it.
Yeah. Well, and the 90.5 is basically saying Nasrat finishes the fight. Because we did the math. If he knocks him out in the third, he can get there. If he
Yeah,
finishes it in the
60% of
third.
the time he wins by KO. He has never submitted anyone. 40% he wins by decision. They think
Nasrat's
this
last
thing
5
is
fights though
going
have gone to
to
decision.
decision. They think this is going to
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. Nasrat's last 5 fights have gone to decision. He's
Then,
won 3,
yeah.
he's lost 2.
Then that makes me want to go with the significant
So it's
strikes.
the over on 6 strikes or under on fantasy. Because if he
Yeah.
goes to decision, he's not getting to 90.
Yeah. Unless this is like a, hey, you got to fucking prove something. You can't be a decision machine.
No,
You don't think so?
I don't.
I don't either.
All transparency, right? It's 2 weeks until Christmas. The big end of the year card is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's watching this card except people like us. Let's be real.
Gotcha.
I have my wife's whole family. We do Christmas with them usually a couple weeks before Christmas. They're all coming in from Arizona. I will be shit faced by the time this card starts. So
We're planning on going to Old Town on Saturday.
I love it.
1909 is like doing some festive stuff. And
Nice.
they're doing like $5 shots for tots.
Whoa.
Like a $5 shot, and then they donate,
A
that
toy?
money to
Toys
for
good
tots.
for them. Good for
Yeah.
them.
I'm going
Toys
to
for
Dallas.
tots, man. Still out here doing it.
doing the thing. So if it goes to decision, I like under on fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take. Aaron, how do you feel? You're leaning over on strikes. Here's a thing to consider.
Yeah.
Open stance. So you got southpaw versus orthodox,
Yeah.
where you got lead legs that are going to be pointing towards each other, and Jamie Malarkey averages 2.5 takedowns per fight. When you have your lead leg that much closer, doesn't that lead to a greater ability to take somebody down, or like just a greater chance?
That leads me to the less on significant strikes.
That's where my head was going as
Some
well.
takedowns.
I
And
think
even if
less
he
on fantasy.
and the thing is too is even and if Nasrat wins early, it'll still be less on the significant strikes.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there with that. I think you're right that there's gonna be some takedown action here. Perfect. That
I'll
brings
take it.
us to the co-main event.
Co-main.
Khalil Roundtree and Anthony Lionheart Smith.
This one's on the board?
Yes,
It
it
is.
is.
Yeah, Khalil.
Khalil
What's the
has
name here?
a fight time, 6
Ooh.
strikes, and fantasy score.
How many times has Anthony Smith been finished in less than 6.5 minutes?
I don't know that that's happened.
Probably.
This is a tough motherfucker.
Yeah. That fight time, 6.5 minutes screams over to me.
Not since 2021. Actually, 2020, 2021, and 2021 again. He had 3 fights that ended in the first round, a doctor stoppage and 2 subs, but he won all of those.
Both of their average fight times is over 7.5 minutes.
His last 3 have gone into late into the second, and then the other 2 went to decision.
Yeah.
Well, that
So
number
we're
feels low.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing on these lines is they expect Khalil to come out just fucking aggressive.
Yep. And
Which he
when was the
does.
last time we saw him do that? Let's see. So round 1 victory against one of the Dawkuses in August.
Doesn't mean
Yep.
too
Round
much now.
3 early into round 2. About halfway into round 2. Decision. And then he fought Jan Kutala, but that ended in the first round. It doesn't show who won that fight. So,
Yeah,
1,
I don't like
2, 3. 3 of his last 6 fights have gone past 6.5 minutes. Now I don't love that number as much.
I liked Anthony Smith pre-commentator when he really had this when he was more of a fighter than an athlete. Now he's really treating it like he's got the same curse as Mike Chiesa, where like he's fucking great because he's tactical and he's knowledgeable, but I don't think the passion to win is there anymore.
But he's tough as shit.
He's so tough, and I don't think Khalil really has that either. Like that, I think he's incredibly powerful and skilled, but I don't know that he'll necessarily blow up out there against Anthony Smith. I think that he would take his time and look for the opportunities just like Anthony Smith will, and I think it'll just elongate the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if this one went to decision.
If it went to decision, like you would imagine, Khalil's going way over that 30 strikes.
Yes.
And also
But
way over
also-
6.5 minutes.
Way over, and also under on fantasy score. So
That
this is
fantasy
all
score scares me though. This is like shades of Armin. Like, why is it
it is.
that high?
Yeah, because I based on this, the assumption would be that Khalil comes out, puts it on Anthony, who's a late replacement, who's had 2 weeks to
Mhm.
prepare for this fight, and he just runs him over in the first round.
But we've
So-
seen guys on short notice, fare pretty well
Ally Aquinta went
in the
5
last couple
rounds
years, honestly.
with Khabib.
Kamaru Usman just almost beat fucking
Hamza, yeah.
Boards.
Hamza.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I agree with that sentiment as well, and I also think that Khalil hasn't faced anyone that has tried to really take him down.
No, he has not.
That's true, and Smith will.
I think that would be the strategy for Smith, right? Is to
Mhm.
get in there, close distance,
Got to get rid of his leg kicks. His leg
and
kicks are
yeah, his
brutal.
so damaging.
Yeah.
So he's got to close the distance fast, and then put
He's
him on
not
his
even a
back.
heavy favorite here, just minus 238.
And I think that's just giving Anthony Smith props. Like I really do think Khalil should dominate
The
this.
guy has fucking 37 professional wins and 18 losses. What is that? 55 professional fights? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
'That's a
55
lot.
professional fights.
That's a lot of cage walks.
Yeah. And he has not been chinned. So like this is just gonna be yeah.
Where are you guys leaning then?
I'm over on the significant strikes or the fight time. I'm not comfortable on the fantasy score.
Yeah, I'm over on the fight time. It's like
Me
I think
too.
where I'm landing.
Me too.
Over on the fight time.
Yeah. 6.5. That feels like we're exploiting something.
Yeah, and
You know,
like
you always want to find an advantage. That feels like one. It could end up being wrong, but
yeah,
it
and
feels
in
like
both
one.
and I like both of their average fight times are both well over that.
Yes.
I mean by a minute and by 3 minutes. So I'm feel pretty good. Next we get the main event question mark exclamation point of the evening, which is Song Yadong and Chris Gutierrez. Interesting choice of main events. If this
We
had been
only
a
have
We only have
what
one
I-
choice
we
here.
only have one choice.
yeah, well, I mean, like if this had been in China, I don't think would have been the main event.
No,
Uh,
it was going to be the main event. It was just going to be him versus Piotr Jan.
oh, look at that. We only get one option.
That's
How
what we were saying.
fucking delightful. Got it. Gotcha. That's what you mean.
So does Song finish this in the first round? Like essentially, that's what we're asking. Does Song win the fight against Chris Gutierrez in the first round? I don't think he does.
So Chrissy
don't-
Goots, that's what I call him.
Yeah.
His last fight that ended in the first round, and hang on,
It's a Frankie Edgar fight.
Frankie Edgar.
his only UFC fight that ended in the first round was Frankie Edgar.
And that was
At MSG.
face morphing
Mm-hmm.
Frankie's face.
Simone Rice. Chris Gutierrez isn't bad.
He's not bad, but he did lose to Pedro Munoz, I believe. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
But-
less looks enticing here.
I tend to agree.
I do too. Cause I think this is either gonna be a long fight that's back and forth, but a clear victory for Song. Boy. Yeah, that less sounds right to me. I
Mhm.
don't think this is a first or second round. I don't even think this is a third round. And honestly, maybe we haven't seen what either of these guys can do yet based on the caliber of fighter. And by that I mean maybe Song is beating a couple of guys or is geez, what am I trying to say?
Well, Song has had 3 fights total in his UFC career end in the first round. And that I'm not even saying that he won them. Those are just the fights that ended in the first round. Marlon Moraes would be the biggest name.
And
he
he
went
lost
5 rounds with Ricky Simone, 4 rounds with Corey Sandhagen,
and he
2
lost
rounds
doctor
with
stoppage.
Arce, whoever that is, which would have hit it. That's
Julio Arce.
Julio Arce. Thank you.
And Kilkenny. Yeah, he hasn't lost to bad guys. Even Kyler Phillips is really good.
I like the under.
I'm for the
And
under.
he's only what, a minus 380. He's not like a minus 1300 or some shit. This isn't Bo Nickel we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like the under on that.
Ryan?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm all over the under.
Cool.
All right. Well, then let's review our picks for the app that shall not be named. What's that?
But will be an affiliate.
Yes. Who wants to do the first one?
All
So
right,
we
so
Go ahead.
prelim, we're playing big favorites here. Tatsuro Taira, we're going less on those significant strikes because we think he is going to take down and sub out his opponent.
Yes.
Park Hyun Sung or Hyun Sung Park, depending on which app you're looking at, is going to have his fight with Shannon Ross end in the first round.
Yes. The Iron Turtle is
I
going.
love that nickname.
Yes. The Iron Turtle is going to land more than 30 and a half significant strikes when he fights Andre Muniz.
And we went back and forth, but we believe the smaller Kelvin Gastelum will have less significant strikes, less than 75.5 significant strikes against his opponent, Jamie Malarkey, just based on the fact that with the stance, the open stance, Southpaw versus Orthodox, that we're going to see some takedowns, and that'll lead to just more of a grappling exchange.
Yep.
Khalil Roundtree will exceed 6 minutes and 30 seconds in his fight with Anthony Smith.
Damn right he will. And let me tell you what, 115 and a half points ain't gonna be reached by Yadong. As hard as he will try, Yadong ain't gonna get that many fantasy score against Chris Gucci.
Chrissy Goots.
Chrissy Goots. That's gonna wrap the 6 pick that we're making for this entry.
I played it. I just played it.
I'm playing it. I'm
Already
putting
played
down.
I played it as well. I put it down with a nice solid 15 spot there.
I got a 10 spot on it.
All right, so I got the most confidence putting down 15 on it.
It was just how the math on the balance I have on the app worked out.
Yep.
Well, I'm doing 12.
I like it. And that's a nice little payout there. Here's the thing. We all actually do play this with our own money.
Yes.
So
yeah. And we use it to
last
fund our
week,
website,
you'd have gone 5 of 6.
which Mr. D picks up.
And
Yeah.
if
And,
you
on average, you're getting 4 out of 6 picks from this trio right here.
it's not
Yeah.
a bad number.
Yeah, you should definitely tell your friends to listen
4
to
out
the
of
show.
6. That's almost 80%, bitch.
Yeah. If
We're
you're
gonna have fun next week with 296.
Yeah.
I do
think
feel like
we
there's
are.
gonna be some discrepancies we can exploit there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that conversation. Any early like shouts you want to give about it?
Colby. I'm all over Colby here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a good conversation.
To win. I don't know what the lines are. They're not really out yet for us, but
Mhm.
he's a slight, money line underdog, but I'd be hammering Colby at plus 120 right now.
Yeah. Huh. I'd also have Hammer Shavkat.
Did you hear that? Yes, definitely Hammer Shavkat. Put him in all your parlays. Amir Albazi and Brandon Moreno are fighting.
Yes.
Yeah, that just got announced today as well.
I like it. An element of violence.
Oh, I remember the name.
What do we take it out on?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mechanical Keyboard.
I choose violence.
2024.
2024.
Who said what?
Yeah, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people together. Yes, let's get back